Top of the morning, everybody. Eric Solbox out the shop this morning, tinkering around with the old Tupperware tank. I've learned a few new things about it, so I thought I would share those things with you now. I had yet to pull some of this stuff apart. Like I pulled this out. I found a little Sony audio amp up in there. Usually, a lot of the issue when you're going through a bike like this is you find like all kinds of electrical weird shit going on. This bike honestly hasn't been too terribly bad. I found all of this stuff underneath of there's a little tray thing that sits down in there, but none of that stuff was hooked up, so really no big deal. I think that there was one on each side hooked to the frame on here. I think these were maybe highway pegs at some point, but I took those off. Let's see what else. The alternator is off of it right now because it did test bad. It needs to be replaced. I was trying to figure out, there's no part number on that alternator. I'm like, what did it come off of? Did a little digging on the internet and found out that the one that was really popular to be used on these was from a GL1200, the little 3-cylinder motor. Looks like about $65 to get a new one of those on the way. Haven't ordered it yet, but I will, obviously, because I have to. Whoever designed this kit, it looks to me like the only way you can get the alternator, I was barely able to get it out of here. The only way I'm going to be able to get this belt back onto the pulley and get the pulley through the hole is to take the whole damn plate off of this. The stock motor, this whole plate, this is all aftermarket. It was a lot thinner. And so, not well. I'll try to get it back in there, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to have to do all this hardware, probably move the radiator out of the way. Yeah, so yesterday I was talking about why you need a project bike in your life. One thing I didn't talk about with that is safety. If you're a complete hack, do not work on motorcycles. Whoever owned this before me was a hack. And so if you can't work on a motorcycle and make it safe, you're probably better off to hire a mechanic. One thing I noticed when I was pulling the front wheel off just now is that these caps, they're directional. They are meant to go on in one way and one way only. There's little arrows on them and an F. And F is supposed to be forward. These were on backwards, which is not safe. So, it didn't fall off on the guy, but, that's just not good. And another thing I know, this guy was just a complete hack. I mean, like I was showing you how he had run a wire down from here to this screw as his ground point for the stereo he put in. I mean, but it goes deeper. This mirror that I've got up over here right now had always like flopped around, and I was like, oh man, don't mess with that because it's probably broken inside of there. And if I mess with it, I'll probably make it worse. It's functional. Don't screw with it. Well, I wanted to take the windscreen off yesterday, and so I had to mess with it. Basically, they're held on with two bolts that go in. And all it was that he evidently had taken this mirror off when he went to put it back on. There's two different lengths on the fasteners. He just had them backwards, had to have realized that it's still flopping around and that he had them backwards, and was just too lazy to swap them around. I mean, come on now. Here's some more hackiness. Showed you this the other day. Like, he made this evidently out of, I guess it's better not having anything on there, but yeah. So anyway, I was talking about the brakes the other day. After I bled them and got them going again, that one of the front calipers was sticking pretty bad. I've narrowed that down to this lower piston here, I believe is the one that was sticking. And I spread these apart, pushed them back in, spread them apart a few times, little WD-40 on the piston. It seems like it'll release properly now. Boy, there's a lot of oil on here. Back to the original mileage being about 29,000. So check this out. So the bike hasn't been registered. The last time it was registered was 2005. I'm looking at this front tire, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the code on this is right here. It says 225, so I believe that 5 indicates 2005, which is the last time this bike was registered. And it didn't go very far on this tire, I can tell you that much, because it's still got a lot of tread on it. And so that date being what it is, and the fact that when I pulled it off and you look at the brake pads are basically like new. So I think when this guy pulled this off, he did a tire, did new brake pads, put it back together incorrectly, and that the reason the speedometer stopped working at, what is it, 29,000? So that's been the debate, is, are these original miles? I do believe these are original miles, and I believe that when the cable was broken was when he put all of this shit back together, and he didn't ride it very far afterwards. See this kink right down at the bottom? Just more hacky bullshit. When he put this back together, he, let me see, where's the piece to it? Somebody had mentioned in the comments on one of the other videos that the drive gear off of the wheel is known to go bad on these. This, actually, he just kinked it. Like, he kinked the shit out of the cable right here. And there's a little short chunk. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show it to you guys. Oh, here it is. When he put the wheel back on, or put the cable back in, or whatever, basically, he just kinked it and broke it. So I'm thinking all of this happened in 2005 when he put the tire and the brakes on it, didn't ride it a whole lot further, which would be denoted by the fact that the tread is still really good on the tire. So, you know, it's probably got maybe a couple thousand miles more than 29, but probably not much. I was also talking before about how, like, these don't have a lot of wear on them. This bike, this is not a high mileage bike. It's a shame that it wasn't better taken care of, because there's a lot of rust and stuff on it. But I do think it'll clean up pretty good. It's sort of a shame that it wasn't taken better care of. Looks to me like a lot of the stuff on the chrome, that a lot of this is gonna come off too. I was watching some videos on how to clean that stuff up with steel wool. I already did this bar with a piece just a little earlier this morning. Most of it looked about like this, and it actually, like, I'm thinking, like right here, this was all real bad. And so I just took some steel wool and real quick got it wet and rubbed it down. So I was talking about maybe running all of that stuff through the powder coating oven and making it black, but I think I can clean it up and make it look better. So anyhow, I need an alternator. I need a windscreen. I ruined the windscreen. So I was doing the trick where you put packing tape across the windscreen and then peel it off. And I thought I'd get cute with it and use my heat gun. So I put all the packing tape on it yesterday, warmed everything up with the heat gun. And my plan was, you know, the heat gun was going to warm up that adhesive, make it stick really good so that when I peeled it off, it would pull all of the oxidation off of the windscreen. And what ended up happening is it just left a bunch of the goo from the packing tape. And then I was like, oh, well, you know what? Goof Off will take that goo right off of there. Well, no, it won't. See all this shit. And I had a feeling that that would be the case. Actually, I had some goo gone. I gave it to one of my, I gave it to somebody. I wish I had still had it in the cabinet over there, because Goo Gone probably would have dealt with this stuff. Anyway, you know, I'm looking for an excuse to replace the whole damn thing anyway. I still might cut this one down and make it into like a summer shield and paint it black. Something that I can see over really easily. But yeah, I've got to get I'm going to have to get a windscreen for it. I've got to get an alternator. I probably ought to replace the front brakes because, or at least one of the sets of pads. These are really oily from the, this seal here has been leaking down the fork leg and getting on there. I'm going to grab a pop bottle. Actually, I'm going to go in the house right now. I bought Asher a pop yesterday. I'm going to go get that and make a hook and see if I can clean that out really quick. These jack stands really work well for holding the bike up. So I need front wheel bearings still. Got to get those on the way. It's got a new battery in it. What else do I need to do? I think that that's probably about it. Obviously, it's got to get registered and stuff to be able to be on the road. It needs a back tire still. I'm going to address everything on the front end of the bike first and then work my way to the back. I don't think the wheel bearings in the back are really bad, but all that stuff needs to be looked at later on down the road. We'll see. So anyway, Eric with Solo Box, don't be a hack. Ride safe, everybody. Talk to you later.